From woo-woo to wow. Bridging the gap between the mystical and the scientific.
The journey from out there to in here.
Join me, Dr. Patrick.
And me, Dr. Rita, as we make the seeming intangible
tangible.
This show will expand your mind.
Open your heart.
And make you say, wow.
Well, aloha.
Aloha, we're back.
We are back. We liked episode 1 so much, the introduction, that we thought we'd come back and do it again.
Yes, we did. This is episode 2 of From Woo Woo to
Wow.
Yeah.
And if you're wondering who these crazy two people are, this is Dr. Rita Andriello Farron.
Yes. And this is Dr. Patrick Farron. And yes, we are married. That is the truth. For 24 years, we just celebrated our anniversary, right?
We did, July 1st.
Yeah. So we had an episode last time where we kind of told you about ourselves and about our center here at the Institute of Magnificence, Center for Spiritual Living, Kaua'i. And somebody asked a question because we introduced ourselves as doctor, as we just did now. And they go, what do you mean doctor?
Yeah, it's loosely used sometimes. So I'm just going to let you know that we are doctors. But if you have a broken arm or you need a prescription, unless it's a metaphysical prescription, you don't need to call us for that kind of work, because we are metaphysicians, which we go beyond.
Right. And we received our doctorate from the Emerson Institute of Theology. And it's Doctor of Consciousness Studies. That's what it is. And in order to receive that doctorate, of course, we have like 20 years of experience in the New Thought, Science of Mind philosophy, but also we had to write a book and we had to take a test and all of that good stuff and be in a course for like
almost a year.
Yeah. So that's it. So now you know why we're doctors.
And one more title I want to throw out. We're not real big in the titles, but we did get that question. And also we got the question that said we didn't mention that we're ordained ministers too, and not off the internet. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but not off the internet. We went 7 years as New Thought practitioners and as ministerial.
And it has nothing to do with religion. It's all about spirituality and the mind and the heart. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We are going to talk about our new topic today is what's so woo-woo about intuition. Intuition. Did you know intuition is like a GPS for your life? It's the only thing I know that is accurate when you learn how to use it.
Right.
Well,
I'm sure that everyone out there was already familiar with intuition, and everyone defines intuition or anything differently than one another.
Yeah.
So our definition is for us, and it may not be yours, but we're going to throw it out there and play with that today.
Now we're going to tell you the things it's not. So you want to start with the idea of gut reactions.
Oh, yeah. So a lot of times, I know that people, at least I did growing up,
I guess
and they would say, oh, I'm getting a gut reaction to this. And they're talking about instinct. And instinct is really good. It saves you from walking into cars, and it saves you.
That's for sure, right.
And it also lets you know you're hungry.
Yeah.
Like I heard a little reel today of David Lynch, as a matter of fact, and it was sent to us. And he was talking about how important intuition was, but that instinct was, I'm hungry, I'm not going to walk in front of a car, that type of more animalistic, in which we are animals, so we do need that instinct. And
really animals?
We are animals.
Okay.
I know you're an animal. But anyway. So the whole idea of instinct is really, if you want to really zero it in, it's survival.
Right.
It's the part of us that helps us survive.
Sometimes they call it the reptilian brain. It's the part of your brain that just wants you to be safe. That's
Exactly.
what it is.
So we say, thank you, instinct.
Yes, we do. It's nothing wrong with it. It's great. No. So the other one that intuition is not is psychism. So psychism is also a very powerful thing because it allows you to read the subjective field. That's what good psychics do, but they're only reading the subjective field, which is what could or could not happen.
Tendency.
Like what you're thinking about, what's in the very soul of you. Like if you're thinking about, oh God, I really want to be married, and then you go to a psychic, they're going to go, oh, you really wanted to be you really want to be married. Now, they're really good at that, but that's not intuition. It's psychism, and it basically reads the subjective field or the subconscious. And it's also very valuable. It's very important to be able to do that. It's probably why you feel in tuned with certain people and not in tuned with others. That's kind of a psychic ability. Like when you walk into a room and you feel maybe, oh, this is a really good vibe, or you
not.
feel, or not.
Yeah.
That would be psychism, but it is not intuition, right? Do you have
Or
anything
now,
else to
and
add?
just a little disclaimer here, because because I'm a people pleaser. I used to be a really strong one, and I still am, but not that strong. But we just have to remember that if you are a psychic, or if you are and you consider it intuition, that's your prerogative. We're just talking from our experience in this field, that psychism and instinct isn't what we're going to talk about today. The purity of intuition, correct?
Right, the purity of intuition that's not influenced by anything on the outside. It's an inner knowing, like it's a knowing that you know. Right? Wouldn't you say
Right.
that?
Well, I
that
would
is-
say, I mean, just ask yourself, those of you who are watching, um, you know when you know. We always say that there's this thing that it may not feel logical, and
that's
and
definitely-
everyone will definitely say that's not logical, and yet you know that somewhere at the center of your being, that you know that it's the
Like-
truth for you.
Right, you're supposed to do this, or
Right.
you're supposed to make that phone call,
Right.
or you get that subtle voice that just says, "Go this way,"
Right.
or "Do this." That's intuition, and it's very subtle. It's not always like big gangbusters
Right.
of
Fireworks.
fireworks, and that's why we want to learn how to listen to it. Sometimes we do, and sometimes we don't. I know you can think about times in your life, maybe where you knew something was what you were supposed to do, and you kind of ignored it, or you did it, you followed it and did it. And intuition isn't usually logical, right? It's not.
Well, it's not logical. It should become more logical, but we're not trained that way. We're trained from that pros and cons. We're all familiar with that. It's what's the pros, what's the cons, what's the logic. It's not logical. Well, if I followed everything that wasn't logical, oof, I wouldn't even be here.
Right.
Yeah, so it's something that
Yeah.
beyond a shadow of a doubt, and you don't know even sometimes why you know it.
Right, exactly. And we're going to give you an example in a little bit here. So why is intuition considered woo-woo, Patrick? Like why? Because it is. Like sometimes people go, oh, that's really woo-woo.
Yeah. And so our whole podcast is about the idea of taking the woo-woo from sometimes a negative connotation, right? And move it into something that is actually more natural. Intuition is natural. It's actually what we're made of.
Right.
And because we weren't trained to use it, we tend to steer away from it, or not listen to that, what they call sometimes the still small voice.
Still
But you were
small
asking
voice.
the question, why are they calling it woo woo? It's because once again, we talked about it last week. Anything that's invisible, anything that can't be measured, is considered like, oh, woo woo. Correct?
Yeah. I remember when I got that. Well, we're going to go into other examples, but when I got the hit to go to Los Angeles, when I was in my 40s to pursue acting, it had no logic to it, really. It's just like I knew I had to do that. And it was not based in anything in reality, in the relative world or the conditional world. It was just like, oh, you need to follow this.
Right.
That's intuition. And I think it's considered woo-woo too. Well, you said you can't measure it, but
you actually can,
yeah,
right? Correct?
Yeah, you can actually measure it because you'll get results. When you use it, you'll have something that happens that was either, something that you manifested because you followed your intuition.
And it has interchangeable with instinct, or my gut feeling, but it even goes deeper than that. It's a little, like you said, more subtle, and that's why we don't listen to it always, because it's a little bit more quiet. And if you just calm yourself for a moment and ask any question, you usually can get the
And
answer.
we're going to give you some exercises for that in a minute. So, do you think women are more intuitive than men? They say that, right? They say we women are more intuitive than men. I don't know if that's true or not. Do you think you're more intuitive than I am?
Yes.
Oh,
No, I'm
okay.
kidding. But I want to address that, because I was in a men's group meeting, and we got into that discussion, and I lead a lot of groups and things like that. And they were saying this gentleman was wanting to defend why men act sometimes the way they do, because they don't follow really the intuitive hits that a woman does, because that's a part of being a woman. And this was the logic, because man, was out clubbing things and bringing home and bringing home the food for the woman and the children, right?
Right.
They have that idea. And then he said, so that's in our DNA. And this was the argument that we had fun debating. And I said, well, that might be true, but for me, there's an evolving that we can all do as men and women to realize that now I'm not out clubbing food to take home tonight. I go to Safeway or I go to Ralph's. And so, or Costco. Lots of Costco.
A little bit advertisement there.
So, yeah, and our sponsor being Costco. I'm kidding.
Wouldn't that be nice?
That would
we
be
would like
nice.
that. Okay, so
But does that make sense though? It's like we get caught in these labels, right? That we're trained that a woman does this and a man does that. And it's okay.
Our cat is here, Quanta the cat. I don't know if you've heard about her, but she's here and she's checking out the computer right now. But we'll just let her do what she does as long as she doesn't disrupt.
And
us.
she comes around the corner.
Very intuitive, and which brings me to animals. Let's talk about this for a second.
And her name is Quanta.
Her name is
better
Quanta,
known
but
from the quantum
there's a
field.
story by Ernest Holmes where he uses the idea of intuition in the person being instinct in the animal. So he tells a story about the hen and how the hen knows exactly how long to sit on those eggs, 21 days or whatever it is, and knows that. How does she know that? She knows that because she is so in tuned with nature, with the universe, that she doesn't have to think about it. She just does it. That's the instinct in the animal. And that could be intuition in us, in that we're so in tuned with the universe and what's going on and what's vibrating that we know exactly what to do in every moment without thinking logically about it. It's just embodied in us. So I love that story of intuition being the same as instinct in the animal. It is to a certain extent. I think that's true because it's just saying that we don't have to think about it. It just is. It's a knowing that we have. So, yeah.
So I think that sometimes
Sorry, I'm laughing because Quanta is going to be on camera soon. Okay.
Intuition is like left for the saints and the mystics and all the other. So you're going to have to pick her up just because we
just keep talking.
But you can say hello if you would like to say hello.
Say hello. Here, this is Quanta.
This is Quanta.
She hates electronics because she's not getting the attention, right?
Right? Is that how it works?
We're trying to talk about intuition, honey.
So instead of stopping the recording, we said, why not incorporate her? Because I kind of wanted her to be on today. I got what I would. I followed my intuition.
All right. What were you talking about now?
No, I'm just saying that a lot of times intuition is reserved for the mystics and the saints and the people that are highly evolved and the quantum world and living. But in reality, the intuition, our intuitive hits, we came here with. In my opinion, we came here with it's a part of our spiritual makeup, our spiritual DNA that allows us, and it's a protector and a friend, and can really support us. I use it more now than I have ever used it in my life.
And the reason is because we are the universe. We are everything that's ever happened or will happen or anything. Everything is just timeless, and we are that. So it makes sense that when we let go of the logical mind, the instinctual mind, and just allow ourselves to just sink in to what we really know, then we would have these lives that we would be following this roadmap that would lead us to where we need to be. So let's talk a little bit about
that. But one last thing, and what holds us back, in my opinion, and I'm going to be Danny Downer about this, but I'm just saying that what holds us back is that we follow too much of the instinctual and wanting it lined out or wanting it to be known before it's known, and we ignore that intuitive that would probably get us closer and quicker to our desires.
Right. So let's give them some examples because sometimes it helps to have examples.
Of course.
So you said you had one you wanted to talk about. I think it was coming to the center, coming to the Hangwanji.
We started the center 12 years ago in two different places. Now we're in a really huge space, which is beautiful. And we have a labyrinth, and we're on the Hangwanji property in Kaua'i, in the middle of the Pacific Ocean on Kaua'i. And the Buddhist temple is right next to us. And so when we were over at the other place, we had just got out of COVID. We were at a place. So if I did the books and I did everything and I showed it to somebody, to find the model for doing it, they would say that that is not logical for you to move into a bigger space at this time when you're building back your community. Over and over again, there was not one moment, and I'm really saying this from the heart. I knew what they were saying, but there was never a logical moment in my intuitive field. I knew, and I don't want to get dramatic, even though people kind of know me as a little dramatic, is that I knew that if we had not moved, when we were discussing, if we had not moved here, that we would probably fold as a center. And it was that clear. There was never a moment, and even now, when there's times where you're going, "Ooh, things are a little tight here financially or whatever," I still know that that intuitive hit that I got, that we got, was because, Rita, you never argued it. You said, "I feel," and so we followed it. We went beyond it, and it was such a great example because even today, I'll say, "Did you ever have one moment?" And this is another test. Did you ever have one moment that you thought, "Well, maybe we shouldn't have"? Not one. That's how I always know if I followed my intuitive hit.
Right, not one.
Was not one time do I go, "No,
Yeah.
I wish we had done that."
Yeah, and another example would be like when we came to this island. We had nothing really. I mean, we didn't have any savings. We didn't have anything. We got off a plane. We were on a vacation. We knew we wanted to start a ministry, but our own ministry, because we were under somebody else's ministry, and we wanted to be our individual situation as ministers. We wanted to found a center. Yeah, creative. So we came to Kauai just on a vacation. And then when I walked off that plane, it was like, whoa, this is where you're supposed to be. Now, logically, it would not make any sense to move across the Pacific Ocean to a place where you don't know anyone and start a spiritual center.
Right.
But we did. 6 months later, we were gone.
Right.
And we never really got any feedback, because people don't, when you're sure about something and you're following that intuition, most of the time people feel it, and they'll never say anything necessarily derogatory to you. Not that you would care. You wouldn't care.
Well,
even if you heard it
to your face.
Yeah. Even if you heard it, you wouldn't care. But
Right.
It was one of those intuitive hits where we knew. And what's interesting is when we came here and started to build this center, people would say to us, "Oh, you must have heard us calling you." So yeah we did. Obviously.
And
you know,
your hit when she got off the plane, and when she gets a hit, just for those of you who don't know her, when she gets a hit, she's like, she goes completely when she hears it. I did not have that strong of an intuitive hit because I was still dealing in the instinctual and the world of form, meaning,
Right.
well, then maybe this isn't a good time, and my mom probably is getting older. We then need, all of the excuses. But if I had been at any other time and space, I would have felt the intuitive hit.
Right.
But I blocked it because I went, well, let's get logical about this for a moment. And then I jumped on her intuitive train.
Well, guess who won out? He's not.
Her.
I don't always win out though. So our relationship's not like that. So I was going to give you an exercise now, but I think I'm going to talk about, because since we were talking about the people saying you were calling us, yada, yada.
Right.
So in quantum science, there's something called, first of all, entanglement, right? Which says that we're all connected in a field of energy. We're all connected in this one mind. We're all connected mentally, not physically, mentally. So yes, it would make sense. So that's intuition does have a entanglement within it, because if you're really in the field, in the energy, in where you're needed and where everything is, in our case, and where we were going to be the fullest expression of ourselves, it would make sense that there were people that were being magnetized toward us, because we're all connected in that one mind.
Right.
So
in the field.
Yeah. And so it is scientific. It's not woo-woo. It's scientific. And if you want to know more about quantum physics, I would say look it up, because we're not going to teach you about quantum physics.
And many people watching,
right?
You're very, very involved right now. Quantum comes out of almost everyone.
Just listen to Dr. Joe Dispenza or Bruce Lipton, any of those people,
or Dr. Patrick or Dr. Rita.
But to get a lesson, because we're not giving lessons, we're trying to give real life experiences.
Right.
The other thing we have in quantum science is the observer effect.
Right.
So that means like nothing is really formed until the observer looks at it.
Right.
Everything's waves, possibilities of waves and particles. And then when you focus on something, that's when it's manifest. So it makes sense that you might be thinking of all these different possibilities and honing in on the one possibility that you're most aligned with. So that would be, it would explain to me how the observer effect comes into the whole thing. That, and then you're focused on that, and then okay, then it has to manifest because that's what you're aligning yourself with. So yeah.
And people will say, recently, especially, I've been really diving deep into this. People are talking about their manifestations and, well, I go to the quantum field and the non-local field, and I'm doing this and I'm saying this and affirmations. But what's interesting is that this thing called intuitive hit that is in that pure potentiality of the field, you can't fool it. We call it in science of mind the law. And that's the law of our being, that you can't lie to the field. You can't say, I am a millionaire, I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire, and think, I don't have a dime to my name right now. I'm a loser. I'm this. And that's what's underneath it. That's how connected we are at all times.
Well, and it's because what? Because it's a feeling universe, a vibrational universe.
Frequency.
It doesn't like listen to what you're saying. It listens to what you're feeling. And that's what it attracts back to you. So whether,
and when you hear the intuitive voice, it doesn't speak a language, not Portuguese, not Spanish, not English, none of it. It speaks through your field, which is what you are vibrating from. So it connects by a feeling. When you get an intuitive hit, I love that. I'll get what I call God bumps or goosebumps or whatever they are, chicken skin here. You'll get it, and it will vibrate through you, and you're thinking, I'm in the field, man. I'm in the field. Something is definitely right, and even right now as I'm saying it, all my skin is just so we think we have to hear something or we have to see it, and that's exactly what the observer effect is to when you observe something and you collapse into that observation, you become the very thing that you already are.
Right. So the one thing that's really
is that woo-woo?
Yeah, it sounds
no, it doesn't sound woo-woo to me.
Scientific. I mean, it's been proven already, so I don't have to prove it to me.
Exactly.
I proved it to myself.
And I like
you can prove it to yourself too. So where does this intuition come from? I believe it's your truth. It's not your brain, it's your heart.
Yeah.
And we already know that your heart is a very powerful brain in itself.
HeartMath has been studying.
HeartMath has been studying this. Forever. And that your brain actually talks to your heart talks to your brain, but your brain can also talk too. And that's coming from a like a logical kind of place, whereas your heart comes from the intuitive place. So that's where you want to sink in, is to your heart. And this is science, okay?
And sorry to interrupt here, but that thing about the heart, that's where people start thinking it's woo-woo, because they're thinking, oh, I am love, I am love. No, it's not about that. They're finding out and knowing that it is stronger than the brain. It has more intelligence than the actual brain of our computer. All I know is just talking about this, we are like miracles. What we are in this being, it's always amazes me. I'm like a little boy getting excited for the first time. But you have something with the heart?
Yeah, I was going to give him an exercise, but it's so true. Like before I go up to speak on Sundays, I just always sink into my heart and I breathe in and out of my heart. So I'm going to give you a little exercise that I learned actually from Greg Braden, and I think it comes from the HeartMath Institute. It does. Yeah, and it's so simple, and you can do it in a few seconds.
Let's do it with that.
Let's do it right now. And when you ask your question of your heart, you're going to ask a simple question, something easy, and you're going to get a direct answer, and it's going to be really quick. And it's never going to be something like, oh, putting you down or blaming you for something.
Why do you want to do that?
Yeah, why do you want to? It's always going to be just a direct in knowing. Okay, so you kind of just put your hand on your heart right now, and you might want to close your eyes. Yeah, you should close your eyes to just block out the rest of the world. And the most important thing is to slow your breathing down. Just slow it down to 4 counts in, to 4 counts out, coming from your heart. So let's do that a couple of times. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Hold it. Let it out. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Do it again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Hold it. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So just continue to breathe from your heart. And slowing our breath down allows the universe and us to know we're safe, that we feel safe. And so we're breathing slowly in and out of our heart. And the best way to get to your heart totally is to bring up something you're really grateful for, something in the past, something now, that you can actually feel that gratitude in your heart. And now, as you're just bringing that feeling of gratitude up, very simply, you just ask your question. You could just ask, my heart, what do I need to know right now? My heart, what do I need to know right now? And you listen. But the first thing that comes to you, and then you just simply let it go, take a few more breaths, and open your eyes.
Wow.
Yeah, that whole process should only take 2 to 3 minutes.
And it's like what I've been using. I'm a reactor that's turned responder because I react sometimes a little too quick. So I use it as a pause. And I'll share with you not what I asked because we don't know each other quite that well. This is only 2 episodes. But what I got from it to show you how it speaks to you is less judgment and more loving yourself. So
Yeah,
it's not
it's
saying
that simple.
it said less. I went less judgment and love yourself. I went, oh, that's a perfect answer to what
Yes,
I asked.
That's good,
Yeah,
Patrick, because it's always going to be something positive. It's not going to be something putting you down
right.
or
We do enough of that.
telling you.
We do enough of that just in the
Right,
human
right.
the human race, right?
So I guess we're going to wrap this up in a minute here.
Yeah,
So if you have
yeah.
anything else to say.
So, well, I do have something to
Is
say.
it important? Why is intuition important, do you think, today?
Well, today, 2 things. Before I say that, I want to say what's really important, even more than intuition, is to subscribe if you are actually enjoying this and to push like, and would be just wonderful because the more you subscribe, the more we get out there. But why it's so important today is because we're living in a world of fact check, check. Everything is fact checking. And so I know that it's so funny that everything, we're not believing anything, right? We're not believing anything. So we're constantly questioning. So I said the other day, as we have, if I ever needed my intuitive knowing and my trusting, I can trust that. I can trust that part of who I am. And I can use that in a time that I may not be able to answer all the global world questions, but I can answer what is mine to do. And I can say, am I safe? And if that's true, then I can move forward with that. It's so comforting. It's like having a best friend that you can really count on. And that's what I consider intuition.
Yeah, and I think we're going to wrap this because I don't want to get too long with it, but
And please, with everyone else, please send in your questions. It was so wonderful last time for you to ask things like "Doctor of what?" and so and we like those. Any questions that you have, ask them and we'll bring them out. Or you have a topic you want us to talk about. Look, we're open. We're on our way to 100 episodes, so there's lots to talk about.
So next chapter of this next episode is going to be Woo Woo, I Love You.
Oh, that's very woo.
Alchemy of relationships.
Ooh.
That'll be good, right?
And here's the thing. You're going, well, I don't really need a relationship or we're going to argue for our limitations on that one. But let me tell you, what I love about it, it's not about just your relationship like Rita and I have, about your relationship with yourself, the relationship with the world, the relationship with your kids, the relationship with Quanta, the cat that's over here, and it's all about relationship, and that's really what we do. We're constantly relating.
We're all
All we're
entangled,
doing is
right?
yes.
So we'll close with a quote by Albert Einstein about intuition, which is the intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and the rational mind is a faithful servant. The intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and the rational mind is a faithful servant.
Which, if we break it down, that means that what about being a servant? It follows Us, correct? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, another episode down, and we are so glad to be here with all of you, and thank you.
Yes.
Mahalo for all of your wonderful positive response to our first one, which was really just introducing.
I'm excited about this.
We're very excited, as you can tell.
Thank you.
We're just going to keep diving deeper and deeper. In the meantime, we want you to remember something. What is it? You are magnificent.
And don't you forget it.
Don't
Thank
you
you.
forget it.
Aloha.
Aloha. We'll talk to you soon. From woo-woo to wow. Bridging the gap between the mystical and the scientific.
The journey from out there to in here.
Join me, Dr. Patrick.
And me, Dr. Rita, as we make the seeming intangible
Tangible.
This show will expand your mind
Open your heart.
and make you say, wow!